What's going on, everybody? It's ShamefulPenguin here, back with another video. And today I'm going to be going over some of the updates to what I'm going to be doing, updates on what I've been doing, show off some of the builds I'm working on, and what you guys can expect from my channel. And the next, I guess, week is, it should come out in like 1 to 2 days, because I want to get more testing done. It's kind of a Scourge efficiency thing that I'm going to make for you guys, but yeah, I'm just going to talk about like the first week of Scourge League start. So the first week was pretty fun. I had a lot of issues where some days I couldn't play, like straight up there were like days I could not play, and power went out on day 2 and day 3 for me. The internet wasn't working on day 4, so I had like 3 days of league start where I just couldn't play. That was pretty unfortunate. But day 1 I pushed really hard. I almost did Cyrus day 1, which I was pretty excited for, but I couldn't do it. I had 1.5 more rotations left, and I figured to go to bed, and then by the time I went to play again, my power was out, so couldn't do Cyrus like immediately, unfortunately, but it was pretty good. I played the build you're seeing here, the Trapper. I went over it before, and I have made some changes recently. Let me go to that character so you guys can see some of the changes I've made. It's pretty significant. We were using the Poison Trapper, the one that the one I showed you guys. I think it was the POB that I showed you guys. It was really good, but when I went to fight the Awakener for the first time, it was a struggle, so I needed more damage. I'm soft core, so I don't mind taking off some defenses. So I ended up dual wielding Cold Iron points other than using a shield. And we're not chaos.multi anymore, so you can see that I took off all the poison stuff, and we are actually just straight up fizz now. So the tree, luckily there wasn't too much changing. You just invest in some crit, some trap wheels, some fizz, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much the same. Our spell suppression isn't 100% anymore. I have it up to 77 right now, so I'm gonna try to do some things to change that to make it 100% if I can. But I do enjoy being defensive. I have a good amount of armor. I have a good amount of evasion. Chaos res I have a bit of too. I would like a little bit more. Just some block, that's whatever. Ignite shock immune as always. We're not freeze immune anymore, so I need it on a flask now. So I have it on my granite flask because I'm no longer using Arctic armor. I am using Skitterbots, Grace, Warbanner, and Determination. Determination seemed like a weird choice at first for me, but Fizz damage did do a lot of damage to me. So why not just use that to mitigate? And then when you're bossing, you just turn on Pride instead, and you get that damage boost other than for mobbing. So I pretty much never die on this build anymore. It's pretty great. I did upgrade my gloves. I crafted these myself. I got pretty lucky. Level 16 blind doesn't do anything for this because we already blind nearby enemies by just being a Saboteur, so that's kind of a wasted spot. But level 18 trap and 50% cold multi, and on my gloves I have a sanguinate and the same thing, cluster, trap damage, and chain. So pretty solid gloves. I would like to upgrade these eventually, but I'm going to upgrade everything else before I do these gloves. Mainly if you can get trap support on your gloves with like resistance and life, you're solid. That's all you need. Don't worry if you can get the crit multi and trap. I think it's really strong because now that we're crit, you can see that my crit chance isn't that high right now. I will be going into cluster jewels eventually, but crit chance is only 30%. Crit multi is under 300, so it's pretty low because there's we're not going like over here or down enough. This is the next wheel I'm going to be taking, Heartseeker, so that's going to be a good damage increase, some good crit, and then the cluster jewel I'm going to put right here because least amount of travel nodes. So that's going to be some good crit. I could go right here for more crit, but I didn't want to change too much of the tree. And yeah, I'm liking what I have so far. So Yeah, and then I actually didn't spec this last time, but you do get a lot of spell suppression from using Mage Bane, so I highly recommend you use that, because the amount of evasion you're getting from dexterity is like a 2,000, which gives you like 3% chance to evade usually, or somewhere around there. It depends on how much you have, but it gives me like 20% spell suppression, so it's definitely worth. So yeah, anything else? I definitely need new boots. Get something like elusive on it or something like that would be really nice. And helm enchant. I'm just probably gonna go for the generic what's it called? Seismic trap enchant damage one. Just get a cheap helmet with that and craft on that and work from there. 2 cold iron points does give me a lot of damage to work with, so I'm very happy. I like going dual wielding over the shield. If you're hardcore, stay shield definitely. The next thing I want to talk about is a character. Hopefully I remember to put it on the screen. It's something I'm working on. It's the thing I've been mapping and doing my testing with for Scourge. It is my cold conversion assassin, my Stormbrand assassin that I made previous leagues. So you can see this, the skill tree doesn't have any cluster jewels right now. It's a really fun build. It plays exactly like last league. Right now it's a lot less powerful because I don't have the cluster jewels, and cluster jewels does multiply your DPS like ×2 basically, so it's insane. But pretty generic, unique heavy build. So Badge of the Brotherhood's actually not that expensive. I did go up a lot. I bought this at like 60C, 70C because I did this like really soon. But it is 2 exalts as opposed to when it used to be like 30 exalts, so it's not as bad as it used to be. So I think this is something you could chase after. 2 Call of the Brotherhoods, which aren't that expensive. They're like 15C. Storm's Gift, very cheap. Impulses, pretty cheap. I need to 6-link this still. I can run red maps on its 5-link, so it's a decent build so far. 2 Void batteries. These will cost you a little bit because you need 2 of them. It's like 80C. And yeah, so like Tailwind, elusive boots would be really good. Helmet. I'm not going to care about the helmet really because I'm going to get +1 maximum power charges on my helmet eventually, and that's going to be the thing I'm going to be searching for. So I'm going to upgrade it once I get that. And also the Stormbrand helmet enchant is really nice on it too. And for the belt, just any belt that fixes your resistance, because your resistance is really hard to fix on this build. Go watch my video that I made, the cold conversion build, to help you out with that. The cold conversion relies a lot on jewels to get your resistance. That's my like band-aid fix. You get resistance here on like pretty much every jewel. You can get resistance to how much you need. Once you use like a headhunter or a mage blood or whatever belt you're gonna opt to use, you can use like Arn's Anguish for like big damage. Once you opt for that and you lose a ton of resistance off your belt slot, you're really going to need your jewels to have a lot of resistance, and by then you're probably running 1 or 2 cluster jewels, and by that time you can kind of get resistance from some of the passives on the cluster jewels, and then you get more jewel spots to get more resistance. So you just got to work on making sure your resistance is capped off as much as possible. So that's a really important thing about the build. I'm like 2 off, but I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to start buying cluster jewels soon anyways. By the time I make the video, I'm going to have like cluster jewels and show both setups. But this is just like a progress guide in case you guys did play Stormbrand. It is really smooth in maps. I really enjoy this, especially the Scourge mechanics. That Stormbrand really works well with Scourge mechanics. So if you guys want a fast mapper, this is one of the builds I'm going to suggest to you guys for a really fast mapper. It's really smooth, and yeah, I can do low tier reds like I've done T14s, T15s, T16s on this build. I've died a few times. It's not a build that you're gonna like 100% live on like the Trapper, but it is like 3 times as fast as the Trapper. So that's how it is, because I have all those frenzy charges and good movement speed. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys my little thing I've been working on. Here's just a little spreadsheet. Might not mean much to you guys, but if you guys are interested, I saw Grim. He was streaming. It was a few days now, and he was testing out all the different like low tier maps and how many rares spawn in each map. And I've been doing this myself lately, to see which one's the best, and whichever ones are the best, I'll keep recording. Like Cemetery I really like, so like I'm gonna do more recordings of that just to get a better number, because Cemetery's been really good and I think it's one of the best in my opinion. People said Silo was one of the best, and it's looking pretty good so far. I haven't done too much testing on it, and yeah, so I've been trying different ones. I need to get more maps just to be more consistent with it. I just run what I have so far and trying to generate it myself. People say Haunted Mansion's like one of the best. I've only ran it once. I got 8. It was pretty low, but I'm willing to give it more of a chance. And I'm being pretty strict on myself. There's a bunch of maps I've been running where I'm like, oh, I didn't clear this part of the map. It might have had like 2 or 3 rares in it, so I didn't include it in my findings, even no matter how good or bad it was. So I'm making sure I'm 100% completing the map. I'm running all these white with 1 Scourge on it, so they kind of look like this. And see, additional fractured item, additional breach, so these will run perfectly well. But if it says additional like basic currency or scourged item, it's sometimes really hard to calculate if it dropped from a rare monster or just dropped in general. So I don't really include those in my findings either, just to make sure. I will record more of my playing of recording this, just so you guys have like an idea of just proof of me doing it. I don't know, trust me if you want. I'm doing this to just help you guys out, give you guys a little bit of feeling. But so far, if you're interested in just farming low tier maps and stuff, my best 2 recommendations so far: Cemetery is a good layout, I really like it. Silo's pretty good. I do enjoy this layout of Silo. It's just like long narrow passages, so it's really good. Canyon is a really solid layout, and it's looking pretty good as well. And yeah, unfortunately I was running Dunes. I don't think I did include it. Dunes has a really low rate. I ran a few of them, but I didn't get a full clear on it, and I only got like 5 on one of them and 6 on another, but I didn't include it because I didn't get a portion of the map. But regardless, it wouldn't have hit above 10. So Dunes seems like a really bad map. I'll do like up to 5 on the ones I think are bad, just to make sure I'm not just getting unlucky. But yeah, hopefully you guys are interested in those kind of findings, because that's going to be my next video. And by that time I finish that video, hopefully I have a build update on my Storm brand. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. Let me know if you guys want to see any more content from me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.